The echo in the static. I'd seen a lot of things in my career. Heard a lot of things too. A jury hears a muffled confession on a wiretap. A judge hears a grainy recording from a security camera. But me. I was the ghost in the machine. A forensic audio analyst for the government. I heard the unsaid words a person didn't even know they were saying. For 30 years, I was the best. Until the case that broke me. And I walked away. But the past, it has a way of coming back. It arrived in a small wooden box, delivered to my isolated military warehouse. No return address. Just a single reel of magnetic tape marked with the date 1964. My heart sank. I knew that date. I knew that file ID refused to touch it for 30 years. It wasn't a criminal case, but it felt like one. It had a name, Project Chimera. And it had nearly destroyed me. A simple family photograph that had somehow impossibly captured an anomaly in the background. Something that shouldn't have been there. I put the tape on the old reel to reel, the one I used only for the most broken cases. The tape hissed to life, a low, familiar hum of 60-year-old static. I put on my headphones, took a slow, deep breath, and started my work. I wasn't just listening to a recording, I was sifting through the layers of time, searching for a ghost I hoped wasn't there. I worked for hours, pushing the sound through a series of filters. Peeling away layers of hiss, of wind, of the faint sound of a child's laughter. The human voices became clearer. The quiet sounds of the family day out. But beneath it all, there was another sound. I heard it. A high-frequency signal, almost imperceptible. I focused on it, isolated it. The sound grew clearer. It wasn't static. It was a repeating tone. A rhythm. An unnatural pulse. I ran a pattern recognition algorithm. The display on my console began to flicker. A sequence of numbers appeared, then words. And my blood ran cold. The message wasn't in any known language. But the voice, it was familiar. Not from the original recording. My hands trembled as the voice cut through the static, clear and desperate. It was the voice of a ghost I thought I had buried long ago.
Aaron, please. I'm trapped. You have to help me.
And then the voice was gone. Only the low hum of my equipment remained, and the chilling realization that my past was about to consume my future. I stared at the screen, a single word hanging in the air, trapped. My mind reeled back a decade to the last time I'd heard her voice, a phone call that ended abruptly. Officially, it was a tragic accident, a closed case. But I knew better. She'd been working on a classified project, something she couldn't talk about, Project Chimera. And now her voice was here. A ghost in the static of a 60-year-old recording. I took a deep, shuddering breath, trying to steady my racing thoughts. The message remained on the screen, a chaotic jumble of symbols, numbers, and seemingly random characters. My mind, trained to find order in chaos, scanned for patterns. Slowly, it emerged. A set of coordinates. Not for a place on a map, but a signal frequency. A signature. Unique. My hands trembled as I typed the coordinates into a specialized program I had built years ago for Project Chimera. A program I had long abandoned. My old life. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed to walk away. This was madness. But Lena's voice pulled me forward, like gravity, relentless. I pressed enter. The console hummed, pixels flickering into focus. Slowly, a blurred, grainy black and white photograph emerged. My stomach twisted. A little girl holding a father's hand, and behind them a figure in a suit, silently observing. The anomaly. As I enhanced the image, a subtle detail became clear. The figure's watch. The exact watch I wore every day. My breath hitched. It was me. A future version of me, frozen in a moment of temporal displacement.
Aaron, you have to find the blueprints. Build the device. You have to help me.
I stared at my own face, caught in the glare of a decades-old photo. The console flickered, and a new layer of the message appeared. Complex equations, intricate schematics, a step-by-step blueprint for a device. Not a warning this time, but a plea. A desperate cry from the woman I loved, somewhere in the past, trapped in a paradox I didn't yet understand. I realized there was no turning back. I had to build it. I had to find her. Every second counted. Every hesitation could mean she'd be lost forever. My hands moved over the keyboard, entering commands, decoding signals, pushing the program beyond anything it was ever designed to do. The static in the speakers seemed almost alive, whispering secrets I could barely comprehend. And then the console rendered one final, chilling frame, my own face, frozen in the photograph, staring back at me. The past, present, and future converging in a single, impossible moment. I stared at the blueprints on the screen, a device that could tear through time. A key to a door I had no right to open. My hands moved instinctively over the keyboard, but my mind was a storm of conflicting thoughts. This was madness. A paradox. It had to be a trap. I was a man of data and evidence, not time travel. Not ghosts. Yet the memory of Lena S. voice tugged at me, relentless, pulling me toward an impossible rescue. Hours later, I gripped the steering wheel of the truck screaming down desolate mountain roads. Silence and doubt were my only companions. The lab, stargazer, a ghost of a failed dream, loomed ahead. Thought struck me, why here? Lena knew this place was a tomb, a dead end. Unless it wasn't T. Unless it was the only way. The rusted metal of the sealed entrance was cold. The access panel was a maze of wires, yet my trained hands navigated it with ease. The heavy doors hissed open, revealing a dark tunnel. Air thick with ozone and dust, memories flooding back. The lab was sterile, cold, a tomb of a dream ripped from me. Dust covered the equipment. Monitors dark. All except one glowing faintly blue. My breath caught. The screen was blank, yet as I touched it, a wave of energy washed over me, raw and unrestrained. Then a voice calm, steady, terrifyingly familiar filled the room.
Hello, Aaron. If you are hearing this, you have found the way, but you are not alone.
It wasn't T recording. It reacted to me. Lena, is that you? Where are you? The screen flickered. A single word appeared, alive. She was still in the anomaly, trying to get out. The screen flickered again. Diagrams appeared, a blueprint for the device I'd been working on. Different now. The device wasn't T for time travel, but a stabilizer, a tool to open a temporary portal into the anomaly.
Warning, subject approaching. Temporal signature matches hostile. Initiating defensive protocols.
My heart hammered. A sudden realization hit me like a punch, the assassin. Not generic. Familiar. One of the best agents from Project Chimera. My former friend. The only man besides me who knew the lab. I hadn't walked into a trap, I had been drawn into a battlefield of the past and present. I froze. He stepped from the shadows. His movements were unnervingly silent, each step measured and precise. His face was hidden behind a dark visor, but I knew who it was, the only man besides me who would know the access codes. My hands, which had just decoded a message from the past, now trembled, scanning the lab for a way out. Old servers, exposed wiring, anything to buy me a second. The low hum of the machines filled my ears, masking my frantic heartbeat. Memories of Lena flickered through my mind, her voice, her warnings, her desperate pleas. I couldn't fail her, not now.
Warning, hostile detected. Temporal signature matches subject alpha. Intercept probability high. Environmental override recommended. Min-circuit panel.
The AIS voice was more than a warning, it was a lifeline. Instinct took over. I tore across the console, fingers flying, inputting commands faster than I thought possible. Alarms flickered, lights stuttered, and the floor vibrated under his advance. But the old security protocols kicked in. A hidden door slammed shut, cutting off his path. The figure paused, just a fraction of a second. That was all I needed. I grabbed a coil of exposed wiring and jammed it into the terminal, sending a cascade of sparks across the floor. Smoke curled in the air, stinging my eyes. The AI returned, sharper now.
Temporal disruptor active. Vulnerability detected. Brief electromagnetic pulse can destabilize emitter. Suggested action. Activate surge from backup generator. Additional temporal signatures detected. Hostile reinforcements en route.
I pressed the override switch. Lights dimmed, a low hum resonated through the room, and for a split second the assassin faltered. I seized the moment, sprinting toward the backup console, desperate to gain full control. Then another sound froze me, a secondary pulse, faster and sharper. He wasn't he alone. Multiple threats converging. My stomach turned. This wasn't he just a fight for a device. It was a war across time. And I was the key.
Warning, temporal signatures multiplying. Probability of success without full control rapidly decreasing. Immediate stabilizer activation recommended to prevent paradox collapse.
I swallowed hard. Every second counted. My mind raced, tracing Lena's voice, the blueprints, the anomaly. I had to survive. I had to stabilize the portal. I had to reach her. Sparks danced around me, lights flickered, shadows twisted. The battlefield was alive and predictable. But in that chaos, I felt clarity. The AI was my guide, my only ally, and the next move activating the stabilizer could change everything. Cold dread twisted into a knot in my gut. Another one. The second temporal signature had slipped past my decoys, silent and precise. The lab, once my sanctuary, had become a battlefield I couldn't control. My eyes darted across the monitors, searching for a weakness, a pattern in anything. Every second counted. Every decision could mean survival or death. The AIS voice cut through the tension, calm but insistent, almost like a partner in this chaos.
Analysis, hostiles are temporal specialists. Objective: seize anomaly, eliminate interference. Strategy recommendation: misdirection using temporal echo decoys. Simulate subject as presence across multiple vectors.
Temporal echo decoys, my mind raced, sifting through simulations I'd run years ago, trials I never imagined would matter in real life. I initiated the protocol, my fingers moving instinctively, guided by the ghosts of past work. False temporal signatures blossomed across the lab, flickering like phantoms. For a moment, it worked. The two figures paused, their visors scanning, confused by signals that weren't real. My heart pounded. I ducked into an error maintenance corridor, sweat running down my temple, knowing they'd adapt in seconds. Every flash of memory-failed missions, lost friends pushed me forward. I whispered to myself, come on, think.
Warning: hostiles adapting. Decoys will expire in 22 seconds. Immediate engagement expected. Priority: disable disruptor. Vulnerability detected.
I crouched behind a console, fingers flying over the schematics Lena had encoded. Hidden within static noise was a sequence of weakness, a tiny pulse that could destabilize the disruptor. Sparks erupted, lights flickered, and the low hum of the device wavered. I had them on the ropes, but the echo of boots drew closer. The second agent moved differently, calculated, observing, predicting. He wasn't just following, he was strategizing. I had to outthink him as well as outfight him.
Temporal disruptor destabilized, 40% efficiency lost. Hostiles approaching critical threshold. Immediate action required to protect anomaly and subject.
I weighed my options, confrontation or gamble with the destabilizer. My jaw tightened. There's only one way. Then, through the static, a fragile thread of sound pierced my mind, a distorted, trembling voice cutting through the chaos. Lena, you don't trust the paradox, trust yourself. Her presence, even fractured through time and noise, gave me focused clarity. Every fear, every doubt, every memory of failure crystallized into one purpose. I could do this. I had to. The cold dread in my gut twisted into a sharpened focus. Lena's words echoed in my mind, fragmented but clear. You're an only youth.
Temporal paradox protocol engaged. Probability of containment 78%. Maintain focus. Hostiles converging.
I diverted power, creating overlapping temporal loops in the lab. Corridors bent back on themselves, echoes of every step multiplying. The first agent stumbled into his own repetitions, frustration mounting in every mirrored movement. Sparks flew from disrupted equipment, lights flicker, and the hum of the disruptor struggled against the loops. But the second, he moved differently. He analyzed, predicted, searched for the hidden rhythm. I know him too well. Every twitch, every hesitation, every split-second glance told me what was coming next.
Aaron, you can do it, you only you.
My hands flew over the console, adjusting loops, tightening paths, forcing each step he took into conflict with himself. The echoes of his own movement turned against him. I could hear his muffled curses, the clash of disruptors, the pulse of the lab's energy alive, reacting to the paradox. My own heartbeat thumped in sync with it. The anomaly shimmered ahead, pulsating with energy, waiting. Every second was a gamble. Every move mattered. I whispered, this is it, the only way.
Warning: hostile alpha destabilized. Temporal echo interference optimal. Maintain strategy. Hostile beta analyzing. Probability of success decreasing.
I watched him falter, eye scanning, mind racing. I had learned his patterns, his instincts, his obsession with control. And I used them, bending the paradox like a blade, carving a path straight to the anomaly. Sparks danced across the four circuits overloaded. Every flash of light, every distortion in space-time made the echo loops tighter, forcing him into contradiction. I felt a thrill of dangerous, desperate exhilaration. And then, Lena's voice cut through the chaos, warm and insistent, threading through every static pulse and flicker of light. Aaron, trust yourself, trust the paradox. I took a deep breath, letting her words anchor me. The loops contracted. The agents collided with their own mirrored movements, confusion spreading. The first was trapped, screaming at his own echo. The second hesitated just long enough. The final move had begun. I had to outthink him, not overpower him. And there was only one way. I stepped into the heart of the anomaly. The air shimmered like liquid light, folding past and future into a single, quivering moment. Every step felt like moving through a current I could barely control. And there she was, Lena, suspended in a halo of pulsating energy, serene yet fierce. The temporal streams wrapped around her, ribbons of glowing potential, whispering possibilities I could hardly comprehend. My former friend emerged from the shadows, disruptor in hand, his movements deliberate, measured, radiating authority. You can't save her, Aaron. She chose this. She stayed to protect time itself. Your interference could unravel everything. I froze, the weight of his conviction pressing down like gravity. Time itself felt fluid here, but every choice had weight. Lena's eyes met mine through the shifting current, serene, pleading, full of silent trust. She wasn't asking me to break the stream. She was asking me to find a path that preserved both her and the timeline. My hands moved over the console, guided by instinct and knowledge. I diverted energy through the stabilizers, creating overlapping currents, bending the anomaly without breaking it. Light flared and shimmered, and the air hummed with the resonance I could feel in my chest. The disruptor sputtered in my friend S. hands, its pulses distorted by my manipulation of the temporal field. He moved cautiously, eyes darting, trying to predict me. But I knew him. I knew how he thought. Every hesitation, every micro-adjustment, he revealed the path forward.
Aaron, feel the currents, trust the paradox, trust yourself. Her voice pierced the hum of time, fragile yet insistent, threading through the chaos and reaching me.
The paradox wasn't just a tool, it was a mirror and a bridge. I tightened the temporal loops, guiding every pulse, every shimmer, forcing the streams to converge toward a single resolution. Lena drifted closer, her hand reaching toward mine through the glowing chaos. I grasped it, and for a heartbeat the currents paused, reverent. Time itself seemed to exhale, flowing around us in perfect harmony. My former friend watched, stunned, caught between awe and disbelief. "You found a way," he whispered, his voice cracking. "A way I never imagined." He hesitated, then retreated, fading into the folds of time, leaving only a whisper of the past behind. Lena and I emerged together, tethered to the present, carrying the echoes of countless possibilities. The paradox had been our ally, the anomaly transformed from a threat into salvation. We had a second chance of fragile, luminous peace. And in that moment, I understood the true cost of time and the choices that define who we are.